Amy Cordalis. I'm a member of the Yurok tribe, one of the recipients of tonight's award. I also serve the tribe as its general counsel. My family is from the village of Rekwa at the mouth of the Klamath River. We've been there since time immemorial. Over this last week, during Climate Week in the UN, we've heard a lot about how our planet is struggling. But tonight is about solutions. Tonight is about acknowledging indigenous and local communities who are taking action to save the planet now. On behalf of those communities, we invite the world to join us. Join us in developing a sustainable economy that includes nature-based solutions, that values indigenous rights, and that incorporates our traditional knowledge. Join us in recognizing indigenous human rights, land-based rights, and the ability to exercise our own sovereignty. Because a sustainable economy cannot be achieved until indigenous rights are honored and recognized. Tonight, I offer a song for all of you. It's my great-grandmother's medicine song. I wear my great-grandmother's dress. And in her honor, I ask all of you to join me in opening your heart to this song, in opening your heart to the power that is in indigenous wisdom, knowledge, tradition, and in our hearts. I'm particularly honored to be here tonight with the fellow award recipients, the other indigenous and local communities who I know have struggled so much in their lifetimes. And I offer this song to you all as a way to heal. And I hope it empowers you and all of the audience, as well as the world, to take the power and the love that we feel here tonight and go home and change your own community. Do what you can to save the world.
Chaplain, and I'm very, very honored to be your hostess tonight. The thing is, their voices are so often ignored, and they're so often unheard, and they don't get the space, and they don't get a say so often. And tonight we have the privilege to hear them, to hear their story. And I just want to put out this call right now to get our audience here tonight to really, you guys listen from the heart, you know? Listen from a different place, because we've forgotten how to listen in this way. And you know, we get this really wonderful honor tonight to see this work and to hear this story. So please, you know, let's start by giving them a really warm welcome. This is the, I'm going to say his title right, the UNDP Administrator, Mr. Achim Steiner, is here to extend this welcome tonight. Thank you, Achim.
I nearly came on stage and I thought, no, this is applause, there must be somebody else coming on stage. But it's great to be here. Thank you all for being here this evening. 2019, the Equator Prize, the best moment of the year for those of us who believe that people are inventing solutions to what needs to happen next every day across the planet. And for many years we've had a partnership around the Equator Prize Awards that essentially searches the planet far and wide for people who are doing amazing things, often just with an idea, then with friends of theirs, sometimes with their communities and with partners, and they speak to everything that this week we wanted to also put at the center of this Equator Prize Award. On Monday, the Secretary General had invited the world to come to New York to a climate action summit. And the theme of this year's Equator Prize Awards is in fact climate change, nature-based solutions. We are very proud that we will share with you this evening, once again, 22 extraordinary stories, 22 extraordinary solutions, and 22 reasons to be hopeful. Because, friends, when we have the opportunity to have such an award ceremony, we not only are picking out 22 people from maybe 22 million people who are doing things like this, we also want everybody to walk out of here and not feel that it's hopeless. On the contrary, so many more people are doing so many more extraordinary things, and sometimes it just bears to take a moment to celebrate. Now this evening we have not only the prize winners here, we also have many friends who will be part of announcing them, but we also have a sort of preponderance of Game of Thrones presence, so you will be pleasantly surprised, as you already have been with Wanda just now, and with another wonderful cast member, unfortunately both of them slain in Game of Thrones. So, this is the next episode, and I can only wish them well, because if they do well tonight, then the Emmy Awards are waiting for them. So in that spirit, just to say, it's great to be here with you. I have the privilege right now of leading the United Nations Development Programme, but I've been on this stage here in years past as a guest and a partner also when I worked with UNIT, the United Nations Environment Programme. This is also a tribute to a partnership that involves many, and tonight it is simply my pleasure and my honor to welcome you here, to ask you to celebrate, to walk out of here this evening with a sense that extraordinary things are possible, sometimes against all odds. Let me just briefly thank particularly Germany and Norway, who have been our partners in enabling us to, every year, make not only the event happen. The event is just a few hours. There is months of work, months of searching, and again, close to 1,000 nominations were received in just under 3 weeks, I think, this year, in 127 countries. Now, if you needed to be encouraged about what is happening out there, this is just a small statistic that should give you a sense of what is going on. To Germany and Norway, but also to Conservation International, the Nature Conservancy, Columbia University, One Earth, and Estée Lauder, our latest partner to join us this year, a big thank you for enabling us to bring not only you here together in New York during this extraordinary week that we call the UN General Assembly Week in the United Nations, where the whole world comes together despite all the differences that define our being together on this planet. You just heard very clearly about them this morning again. But also to say to you, together, we're actually making progress. And in that spirit and in that sense, it is also my great pleasure now to introduce a very dear colleague and friend of mine who has just moved to Nairobi and has become the Executive Director of the United Nations Environment Programme, a remarkable person with a remarkable story and going to do remarkable things leading the United Nations Environment Programme. Please welcome the Executive Director, Inga Andersen. Thank you very much.
Thank my friend Akim for allowing me to come this evening to this amazing event. I have to say it's not the first time that I come to the Equator Prize, and each time I am amazed at the stories we hear, at the commitment, at the change that we are told about by individuals and communities who've stepped up to make a difference. And as Akim mentioned, this year the emphasis is on climate change and nature-based solutions. And nature, our air, our food, our water, our land, our oceans, our trees, each of these are sacred. And we will hear about this tonight. We will hear about what people are doing to protect nature. And we will celebrate what they do. Nature-based solutions is something that has come into the fore of late. We need to invest in nature, in nature's infrastructure. When I say invest, I mean protect. Those seagrasses, those coral reefs, those sand dunes, those forests, those lakes, the mangroves. Each of these provide us with plenty. They provide us with our food, they provide us with our sustenance, and they provide us with protection at times when the storms come or when the waters rise. So therefore, nature-based solutions is part of a broader tapestry of solutions that we need to understand for climate, for desertification, and for the Biological Diversity Convention. Each of these matter and matter greatly. And if we have learned anything from the last year or so of intense heat, intense storms, intense fires, intense drought, it is that nature can protect us. But if we do not take care of nature, nature will send us invoices. Those invoices will come in the forms of fires and storms and threats to us. So let's not have that happen. Let's hear from the evening's prize winners what they are doing, celebrating nature, protecting nature, being sure to take action to make a difference. Because this evening is about nature, it's about sustainability, and it's about our future. Thank you.
So people often think of scientists as people in labs wearing funny coats that turn stuff into numbers, right? But indigenous people have a profound scientific knowledge of the natural systems and the systems of all nature, right? They have this wisdom that is based on direct experience and on relationship. And it's science. And their practices, oh yeah, and it's built on thousands of years of trial and error. That's important, because so often, you know, they're seen as kind of backwards, but they're not. They're living right now, and they have as many thousands of years of trial and error as we do.
Sorry, thanks.
They just have a different way of going about things. Thank you. So their practices not only protect the earth, but they help life thrive. Which is why 82% of all biodiversity is on indigenous land right now.
We are facing a planetary emergency. Climate change is the single most important challenge humanity has ever faced.
But nature, essential for solving this challenge, is in crisis.
Nearly 2 football fields of tropical forest are lost every minute, and more than 1 million species face extinction by mid-century.
We are at risk of losing both battles, on climate change and on biodiversity loss.
Nature can be our biggest ally in solving our climate crisis.
By protecting and restoring carbon-rich ecosystems like forests, peatlands and mangroves, and by practicing sustainable agriculture and agroforestry, we can achieve nearly 40% of our climate mitigation targets.
Indigenous peoples and local communities around the world are at the forefront of advancing nature-based solutions for our planet.
Our next speaker has been fundamental in spearheading government initiatives to collaborate with indigenous communities. So I'd really like to give a warm welcome to the stage, Peruvian Minister of the Environment, Dr. Lucia Delfina Ruiz Ostoic.
And they're not going to come from isolated self, but we have to build them together. And that is important of this event. It's not only the recognition of those who deserve it, but also an opportunity to build networks what is now called networking capital. How do we encase this? How do we not let it be in an adept or a few minutes, a few days dialogue, but rather we make it more systematic? How do we all become a network that allows us to sustain this initiative and articulate it, so they can access more opportunity, more research support, more markets, with greater environmental awareness? How, in short, do we take this globalization seriously and for good? I hope that these challenges that I'm now putting on myself and ourselves are received as an opportunity to jump to the next level, a room for improvement, and to take the maximum advantage to this unique opportunity. The Equatorial Initiative did us by joining leaders and innovators from all over the world with authorities who must be leaders too. And we will be leaders only if our permanent attitude is a learning vocation, and will to learn from these innovative and remarkable initiatives. So when we will be back to our daily work as entrepreneurs, consumers, public servants, researchers, or simple citizens, we will at least start generating and boosting the required changes through the public policies we push, or our commercial strategies, our research priorities, or our lifestyles. For this opportunity, thanks to all, to UNDP for keeping for many years these initiatives, to the local community that honor us, sharing their experience, to all of us by committing publicly to be better citizens of our planet every day. Thank to you for this opportunity to me. Thank you.
Our winners' commitment to caring for nature and mitigating the changes in our climate, I call to the stage Dr. Jill Blockhus from the Nature Conservancy and Kristen Walker from Conservation International. And I also have the great pleasure of welcoming to the stage UNDP Goodwill Ambassador and my friend and colleague. And on top of that, I believe he has brought with him both of his hands here tonight. Nikolai Koster-Waldau. So the winners in mitigation. From Peru, Managing Organization of the Administrative Contract for the Amatae Communal Reserve. Also from Peru, Managing Organization of the Administrative Contract for Tuntanain. From Guinea-Bissau, Management Council of the Europe Islands Locally Managed Marine Area. From Indonesia, Customary Community of the Dayak Iban in Sungai Utik, Longhouse. Native communities of Nuevo Saposoa and Patria Nueva de Mediación Caleta. From Brazil, Association. From Cameroon Gender and Environment Watch. And from Pakistan, Kazagar Cluster Community-Based Organization. Now, a little something about tonight. So each section has designated a speaker to represent them and speak on behalf of everybody tonight. So thank you so much for listening.
We have a long tradition to work together to preserve nature. We call on you, as the world's leaders, as local and international NGOs, as concerned citizens, to help us to scale up our efforts and magnify our impact. We are teaching our children about the devastating consequences of clearing forests and mangroves and unsustainable agriculture. We invite you to do the same, to educate your children, so that together we can raise a forest generation.
Yeah.
Woo! We are teaching our communities what it means to love nature and treat it with care. We ask you to work with us to inspire political will for powerful change, so that we can create a culture that puts nature above material wealth. We are working hard to preserve the priceless gifts from the land that we live on, even though we are often not recognized as its rightful owners. We urge you to join us in sparking a powerful advocacy movement, so that we can gain the freedom to govern our land, scale up our impact, and proudly celebrate our culture on our land. You will not be doing this only for us. You will be doing it for the survival of future generations. My new Equator Press friends shared with me their native legend, the one where they were saved by the miracle tree of life, Wanami. Today, we need a similar miracle to reverse the damage caused by deforestation, illegal logging, extractive economy, exploitation of resources without regard for future generations, and uncontrolled mining activities. However, we cannot afford to, and we will not wait for a miracle. Today, we encourage you to look at nature the way we do. Land as the mother, forest as the father, and water as our blood. The tree of life protected us once, and now it is our turn to protect it. Thank you.
I'm from Denmark, in Scandinavia, and I have traced my ancestors as far back as we can, 1100s. I've also even done the DNA thing. I'm 86% Scandinavian and 14% Northern European. I'm inbred. I guess I am a native, indigenous Scandinavian. I am in a country that is incredibly wealthy. I enjoy freedom, personal freedom, We have the oldest democracy. We have the oldest flag in the world. We're very proud of that. We love to use our flag all the time, because that's our identity. I was just in Peru with the UNDP. I wanted to understand this thing about the Amazon on fire. And as you can imagine, it's a complex thing. I'm not going to pretend that I understand all the reasons. But at one point we went to a village in oh, it's because I thought it was the Hare Krishna thing. Came to this village, and which would have been nice. I mean, it's all in the spirit, right? And we met these wonderful people, indigenous people, who welcomed us, and they had a very clear understanding of what we're all facing, the climate change, the consequences. I asked them why they burned the forest. Some of them did, and they said, well, we have to. That's the only way we can survive. We have to grow the land, and this is how we do it. I also met programs that were helping to find sustainable ways of doing that. But what I found at the core of this is inequality on a global scale. And we have to solve this global inequality to solve climate change. These things are linked together.
We are here to honor that work. The challenges that we need to overcome together are enormous, which is why Germany is putting a particular emphasis on 3 aspects. It's first, more funding. My ministry is one of the biggest donors in the area of nature conservation. And second, it's conserving and protecting nature. We are investing in funding for the fair and effective management of protected areas in 54 countries. And most important of all, it's third, improving of the legal basis, because 3/4 of the land in the hands of indigenous and local communities is not secured by any kind of legal title. But people who are working to preserve the natural resources need for our common survival must have a say in decisions about their land. They should not be pushed out. And Humboldt said, everything is interconnected. A statement that makes him, 250 years ago, the first modern ecologist. And so I say to the prize winners today, you are courageous. Actions are of global importance. You have, for all you are doing, my deepest gratitude and respect. Thank you very much.
Here to present them with their prizes are Jenny Springer from the International Union for the Conservation of Nature and Dr. Dennis Jacobs from Fordham University. Our winners from Ecuador, Fund for the Paramos of Tungurahua and the Fight Against Poverty. From Benin, Regional Research and Education Center for Integrated Development. From the Federated States of Micronesia, Tamil Resources Conservation Trust.